Welcome to the highlights of Surrey's match against Sussex at the Gear Oval. And Surrey started really brightly. Boundaries early on for Laurie Evans, crashing that one away through deep backward square leg. He looked in rare form today. I'm Daniel Norcross, alongside me is Phil Walker. And that was a lovely shot down the ground. Coles, he's bowled the first over. His second over was a little bit expensive. And Surrey repeatedly looked to target that straight boundary. This one here from Laurie Evans went an absolute mile, Phil Walker.
That it did. It's one thing hitting a left-arm spinner through extra cover, but when Tymal Mills comes on to bowl and you try and do the same thing, then sometimes he gets you down. And this is the start of a procession, really. They were superb with the ball and electric in the field throughout the afternoon.
It was a key wicket, that, because it slowed Surrey's progress. They started so brightly, 37 from 4.5 overs, 30 from the first 3, but then Will Jacks was out soon after. That was 2 quick wickets in just 5 balls.
Yeah, Henry Crocombe bowled a good spell early on, cramped Will Jacks for room, didn't let him get away. Obviously such a destructive player. And 39 for 2 suddenly became 49 for 3 with Sam Curran lacerating one to the fielder at backward point, and it was a superb catch.
Well, Coles here is at full stretch, one-handed, an absolutely brilliant catch, emblematic actually of Sussex in the field. They dropped Laurie Evans early on, and after that everything stuck.
Sunil Narayan came in and played breezily and beautifully for 29, hit 3 sixes and a couple of 4s. There's an effortlessness to his game, and at that point it felt like Surrey were gonna run away with it.
Well, it was a 53-run partnership, and that was another one of those brilliant sixes. Just a little flick shot. Take a look at that. The bottom hand, bit of wrist, and flicked out towards Lee Fortis, the groundsman's dugout here.
Ravi Bopara bowled an inspired spell early on. This was pretty much the only shot in anger against him. Sunil Narayan bringing up his 3rd 6, but just when you thought he was going to run away with this innings, Ravi Bopara came back and removed him with another piece of classical Bopara sleight of hand.
Well, he was trying to repeat the trick, wasn't he, and didn't quite get as much of it. Good diving catch from Ward, the sub, who was out there because Ali Orr had injured himself trying to take a catch on the deep, long off boundary. They would later see him require a runner, but it was at this stage that Ravi Bopara made all the difference. Picking up 3 wickets. This was Tom Curran, who'd been slightly starved to strike. Really good catch by Alsop, running backwards, taking that over his shoulder. And Bopara bowled 3 overs in succession, which for a guy of his pace, you would have thought, wow, it's a dangerous manoeuvre, but he was masterful today. He was really good at marshalling his troops.
Jamie Smith played a couple of strong shots against the leg spinner down the ground, but it was Bopara again who had his number. Smith making too much room to try and access that leg side, and Bopara picking up his 3rd wicket in a spell of 3 overs for 18 for those 3 key middle order wickets.
Yeah, the loss of Jamie Smith had Surrey at that stage 126 for 6. There was still about 5 overs to go, and with Tymal Mills on and Jamie Overton swinging the bat, Surrey was still hoping that against the pace of Mills they might get up to around about 160, 170. That one there flying off the edge and landing right in the gully with the covers there, getting pretty soaked, but then pure pace, and this is what precipitated the collapse, a crucial collapse in the end. Jamie Overton departing there with a score 146 for 7. That was right at the start of the 19th over, but then it was just wicket after wicket. Run-outs in an attempt to make sure that Jordan Clark was getting back on strike. It seemed like a reasonable tactic to start with, but it started to become a bit daft. And this is the area that Surrey will really look back on this game and think, oh, surely we should have got closer to 160, 170. That 146 for 6, that made it 147 for 8. Then run out of the first ball of the 20th over. Again, an attempt by Tom Laws to get Jordan Clark back on strike. He might have been wiser just sticking with a single and facing himself. because at that stage, with 9 down, it meant there was no margin for error at all for Jordan Clark. Unfortunately, well, there was the error. Surrey bowled out for 148, losing their last 4 wickets for 2 runs in the space of 9 balls. And that meant that Sussex were set what we felt at the time was a distinctly under par total.
The big question was whether Ali Orr would be able to bat, and he hobbled out manfully and played very easy on the eye through the offside, and he gave a bit of impetus to Sussex's chase. With Tom Clark relatively becalmed at the other end, it was Ali Orr who got the innings going. He's very strong and free through that offside. That was a glorious 6 over extra cover. And although he didn't hang around for a long time, he nonetheless gave a bit of energy to Sussex's chase and opened up this chase. It was 29 for no loss when Clark went, with Ali Orr still at the other end.
It was crisp striking from Orr, wasn't it? It was great to watch, but as you say, wicket fell. Sharp catch by Will Jacks. Tom Clark driving into the offside, and suddenly the innings was taking on a similar kind of flavour to that of Surrey's earlier. That good quick start in the first few overs. Again, the spinner perhaps bowled 1 over too many in the power play.
Ali Orr was on one leg through most of this innings, having hurt himself in the earlier piece, but he played really bravely for 24 before cutting hard to backward point, where Laurie Evans took a fine catch to give Tom Laws his first wicket. That brought the skipper Ravi Bopara to the crease. Bopara in good form with bats and ball, but Sunil Narine had his number. Narine, the overseas legend, came on and changed the pace and the complexion of this innings. Bopara going for just a couple, and at this point the squeeze was on. 3 for 39 in the 7th, and although Tom Alsop was going about his business and opening up his shoulders here and there, it was nonetheless quite hard going for Sussex in these middle overs. George Garton, the bowling all-rounder, came in at 5, struggled to get going a little bit against Sunil Narine, and when he ran past one for Jamie Smith to complete the stumping, who had another good game behind the stumps, the squeeze you felt was on.
Well, it was 56 for 4 at that stage, just at the start of the 11th over, and Sunil Narine was impossible to hit. The rate was up to well over 9, but there then followed this partnership between Tom Alsop and Michael Burgess. Recently signed on loan Burgess, the keeper batter, and they proceeded to put on a record 5th wicket partnership for Sussex against Surrey in T20s, with some really fine hitting, but some sensible hitting as well. They didn't start that quickly, but then they just got going. Particularly severe on Worrell. That was your shot of the match, Phil.
Yeah, and that really did break the shackles, and it showed that Burgess was thinking clearly and really did fancy this chase. They're a young side, Sussex, and they held their nerve brilliantly here at the death.
There were some lovely shots of finesse as well. And bear in mind that Surrey's bowling attack, well, it's not raw in the least. They had Sam Curran, they had Dan Worrell here, but they were just being treated with a degree of disdain as these two got in. They were the only 2 batters really in the entire day on a pitch that, well, it wasn't blameless, but it was a good T20 wicket. But these two were the only 2 really to get going. That 6 from Michael Burgess was mighty, nearly got onto the 2nd tier. No catches taken in the crowd today, incidentally, although there were quite a few opportunities given. All of them went begging, but really, you've got to take your hat off to these 2. It was a very, very fine partnership.
With just 16 needed from 13 deliveries, the game was all but done, but there was a twist. Brilliantly taken by Nathan Barnwell, the substitute fielder, on the offside 45. That flew, and he clutched it out of the air, and Burgess had to go for a 28-ball 48. 5 fours, 2 sixes, the innings of the game, and it brought the teenager James Coles to the crease, who'd fielded so well in Sussex's innings, and it was Alsop to hold his nerve and get the job done. Tom Laws with the final over was just unable to hit his length. Alsop got under it and punted it down the ground.
Yep, Surrey will be disappointed in the end as the winning runs were scored. They felt that they might have had Alsop out a couple of times. Two good LBW shots, but in the end, Sussex getting home by 5 wickets with 1 ball to spare.